In awe of the strongman. We've seen plenty of ire directed at those who haven't completely condemned Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine or shown unconditional support for the under-siege locals. Even some expert analysts on the region, that is to say, people who actually have a fair idea of what they're talking about, whilst condemning Putin's actions, have come in for criticism in some quarters for merely suggesting the reasons behind the attack. The simplified narrative for most of the media, politicians, and those who like to be told how to think right now is Russia and everything Russian evil, Ukraine and everything Ukrainian good. As discussed previously here, one should tread carefully when there's such widespread agreement. Of course, many of us have a tendency to plump for the underdog, hence the support for innocent Ukraine against bully bear Russia. Indeed, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is being portrayed as some sort of superhero saint. For sure, from what we've seen, he has been impressive, but we can assume he has a few flaws. Nonetheless, he is the perfect strongman counterweight to Putin over which the West can idolize. For as much as some of us may think Western democracies have moved on from fascinating over strongmen figures, there still seems to be an innate desire for a patriarchy of sorts. In fact, this could be why some actually view, or at least did view, Putin as a likeable rogue. What's more, on the global level, the Russian president has been the underdog against NATO and the West in general, a West in which many of the agenda setters appear to be nothing more than self-righteous, often hypocritical virtue signallers. With a dearth of impressive leaders to look up to at home and tired of being constantly patronised, a no-nonsense Putin, we can also include Xi Jinping here, appeals. There is a feeling, a la Donald Trump, that these men rule with conviction rather than pussyfoot around, trying to please everybody but achieving very little. In functioning democracies, such types do have their place. They can take on the technocrats. It could be said that the European Union is in dire need of one. The problems arise when there are no checks on the strongmen, when there is no one to challenge them. This generally happens when they've been around for too long. They do usually self-destruct, but not before causing a lot of collateral damage on their way out. Yet, the strongman is usually easier to comprehend than, let's call them gentler leaders. The latter is often more pernicious. They claim to be forces of good. Indeed, they are so convinced that they are morally right that they don't see the harm they do. We have two excellent examples of such types right now. One is currently running amok in Canada, the other in New Zealand. It could be said that Justin Trudeau and Jacinda Ardern are like terrible twins of one Sir Anthony Charles Linton Blair, aka former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair. One can only hope that, like Putin's, their respective regimes are coming to an end.